Yeah, I think there are some procedures that we need to look at that allows them to authorize things as a shift lead, but not. I don't believe they need high command needs to be around to make those changes. I think lieutenant's the highest they need. So
okay, well they have 2 now, right? So
yeah, you have a lieutenant for shift 3.
yeah, we've got Lieutenant
Rhodes, right?
Rhodes. Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
What's everyone else's opinions on that?
If I support what you think, if you think that they're happy and are content with just lieutenant, I'm happy to keep it with that.
No,
Yep,
I agree.
I agree.
Like I said, I don't go there enough to.
Ain't nobody waking up in shift 3. LT's
if
good
if
enough.
you've been there and you've experienced it, I trust your judgment. That's fine.
I mean, I do obviously try to keep an eye on shift 3 as well, and stopping quite often to kind of be the liaison from Maple to high command. And I've never heard him. I mean, he has voiced interest in the fact that he would like a high command member around, but he also has said it's probably not necessary and that he has no problems keeping and maintaining control over the shift, at least from an LSPD standpoint.
Hey,
And like you
ain't
said, they
nobody
operate
waking up in shift 3.
unit,
There's
as a
like
team.
50 people awake.
It seems like most people, regardless of the uniform, have a pretty high respect for him, and will go to him. He's approachable and everything. So I don't know if it's necessary. And I obviously will continue to try and check in on them and take care of shift 3 as they need if there is a high command need specifically.
Just to be devil's advocate here, though, just to make sure we cover the bases correctly. You're saying they don't need one turner. What would the negative effects of them having one be?
High command member who is constantly out of their shift, essentially trying to get in touch with myself and other high command members. I mean, I'm at the point of removing Trig from captain as well. I'd like to tighten up high command a bit. I don't think adding someone over there is needed right now.
Oh,
okay.
So how many? One cheek is off the fence. Oh shit! One cheek is off.
I mean, that's pretty much the same for us then, right? So it's gonna be under sheriff assistant.
But the other cheek is like you know, just
So we'll have a total of
grabbing
6.
on.
Being, I mean, I'm not.
I mean,
against potentially
Trig
pulling a
changing.
third,
I
but
don't
right now,
know if
don't
it's
think we
like
need a
the
third captain.
biggest.
Okay.
I mean, listen.
I agree. Oh,
Hey, how you doing,
welcome
Jimbo?
to the
Hey,
end of
I'm
the high
Sheriff.
command meeting, Jimbo.
All right. Oh, this is kind of my personal preference, but be it this meeting or any, be it this meeting, future meetings, etc. Could we have like in the high command email, like, hey, it's happening at this time, whatever. I think
normally we do this as a fluke though, but yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I think we should have bi-weekly meetings, starting from now. It doesn't harm anyone, right? And I think an hour ago from now is pretty ideal for everyone, right?
Let's do Wednesdays. You're all down here already, right?
Oh, my day off. That's
Honestly,
a perfect day.
if we could do Thursdays, that
That's
would be a lot better for me because
Well, I mean, what's good for everyone?
I-
Does
I'm
anybody have any objections to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or sorry, Tuesday or Thursdays?
I'm available whenever. I just want like heads up, like 48-hour heads up. You know what I mean?
Everyone's around
Well,
Tuesdays, right? Should we
let's
just
just set it up.
on Tuesdays?
I'm not. Honestly, if we could do
Thursdays. Can you be around
Thursdays, that would be,
Thursdays?
yeah,
I'm
I
not
can be around.
usually around Thursdays.
Okay.
What
the
about
fuck?
Fridays? I'm sure everybody loves Fridays.
Okay, what about as needed? You know what I mean? Because
No, I like
Yeah.
actually setting up bi-weekly.
The
Okay.
thing is,
All right.
I feel like I'm the one who's going to
Bi-monthly. Is
be.
bi-monthly, bi-weekly.
I feel like I'm going to be the one who's restrictive here. I can be here anytime from an hour after meeting, but on Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I can be around whenever. So
Thursdays
if you
doesn't work
guys
for who?
don't, if you guys don't mind waiting until
Just
this
me.
time, then we
Okay.
can do it any day for me.
I mean, look, we just need to touch bases. That's all. Any issues we have, make it regular. Let's keep it like a 15,
regular
20,
is
30
always a
minute meeting at
waste
the
of
very most,
time.
and move
and
on, right?
Is the problem? You end
Make
up having
points, go
meetings
straight
for
to
the sake of
point. We don't need
meetings.
to beat around the bush. Have these circle talks or anything. You know,
You know
that's the
what?
goal of these is to just keep an open line of communication and just
Yeah.
talk about anything we need to.
You know what I think would be
'Cause then
great
you-
as
you
well,
need
if
an
we do these
agenda and
bi-weekly
stuff.
meetings. Let's.
I
get
wish I didn't have a
shared high
formal
command report going.
Background in
Anything
this
that
these
we
kind of things.
see that we aren't happy with, instead of not having good communication on it. Just write it in the high command report. Wednesday comes,
Okay.
boom, we address it all together.
I'm going to be
Right.
honest though. Anything you see in the field should be addressed there in the field in that moment, because at that point it loses weight. Now, if it's something you want to bring up afterwards, I say just jot it down and bring it up in the meeting, right? But if you're seeing something actively happen in the field that needs to be addressed there and then, where it still has weight.
You can still address it at the time and then just bring it up in the meeting just so everyone else is
Well,
where it happened.
I mean, there's certain
Yeah.
contexts, right? Like this meth thing, for example, that couldn't have been addressed when we found out, right?
Right. Oh, fair enough. We can put up a report. You just use it as to jot notes down.
Um,
What day are we doing?
I am available whenever.
Me
As long
too.
as I know in
after-
advance.
Honestly, just go for Thursdays
same.
and I'll try and make myself available. And I'll let you know if I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I may
Thursdays,
miss
5
some
Eastern.
Wednesday and Thursdays. I get a little rough, but I'm sure I wouldn't pin it on me. You know what I mean? I can always leave a note.
Okay, does 5 Eastern work?
Is that an hour ago?
That's in
An hour and a half from now.
Oh, I mean, 5 Eastern. I can do fucking any day. Yeah, that's fine. Anyone have any food? I'm about to start.
You could do any day.
Why don't we do it
At fi-
Tuesday?
at 5
Why don't we
PM
just do it
Eastern,
Tuesdays
yeah.
at 5 Eastern, then 5:30?
Yeah, yeah,
Tuesday,
yeah.
5
Tuesdays
Eastern.
are good.
Okay,
Tuesdays.
that's fine.
Yeah,
I
they're-
fuck
Let's
with
do
they're
it
Tuesdays.
every
really
other
good.
Tuesday, 5
Perfect.
Eastern. Keep it simple.
Perfect.
I'll try to keep the meeting to the points. That doesn't mean we shouldn't be addressing things in the moment with the other department and holding off until the meeting.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
Any
I got-
company you cover here.
I got a topic. I know we've discussed it independently together, kind of like head nodded a couple times. I would like us to stop putting at the top of any report, if found, charged with this thing. My argument is, number one, that's fundamentally not probable cause. Number two, it drives into the point that Maxwell made, like people going in the sales, not know how to articulate something. Rather, law enforcement to not only better themselves and for charges to be pressed appropriately, if they find a hot gun, they should be ripping open that report and figuring out, based on the information that is provided in that report, what the proper charge is.
Does anybody remember why those were put into place?
It wasn't what I mean. I think it was at the time was because it was to streamline because the person who was on scene and had the hot gun knew the context of it, so they could decide the charges that should be pushed for those hot guns.
I
It's
think
just a streamlining because if you have somebody in the cell that's sitting there for so long and you're gonna go through 19
Yeah.
hot gun, it's just easier, right?
And honestly, I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you that if you get a gun, and I've been in that situation where you've got 20 plus on it, they're not going to sit there and read all the reports. They're just going to disregard them.
I think perhaps maybe the verbiage, like if it was
like a statement of probable cause, maybe like this gun
Yeah.
was like a quick at the top.
exactly that,
Like instead of charged with this, a quick statement of probable cause at the top of the report so that the AO can then relate that to a relevant charge depending on how they found the
Exactly.
suspect with a gun.
So
right?
what is that going to look like in practice?
I can give an example. So you find, you go to like an S plus boost, for example, right? And you find some casings there. As you would normally do the report, instead of at the top saying, if this gun is found charged with criminal use, that's cooked. It should instead be, casings were found on scene, shortly after a dispatch call for an S plus boost with blah, 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 blah. Individual found, with a gun coming back to this, should be considered for, at minimum, criminal use and at maximum, grand theft auto. And
Isn't that the body of the report anyway?
I
I understand exactly what you're saying, but that is the body of the report, and all they're doing is TLDRing at the top.
it depends on the circumstance. So in that case, possibly. However, I'll use another example. With this situation that happened at the docks with the 2 dead bodies or whatever, it was stated in the body of that report, if this gun is found, charged with 2nd-degree murder. And in doing so, that hid the fact that it was actually 1st degree and tied to a bunch of other stuff. So it really depends on the circumstance. So I gave the most simplest example, and that's like 3 sentences. And I think every one of our officers should be able to write 3 sentences at the top. If the circumstances are more expansive, then, you know, you may have a report that is like, let's say 3 pages long with a summary that's a bit shorter. And it may or may not include contact this individual, right? So
I don't disagree with that. While we can just quickly look at the body and figure out the whole report. When you have somebody whose gun that comes back to 10 reports, yes, it happens at least once a week for me. Sometimes it's 4 to 5 reports. And then you're also the primary and discussing charges with everybody else. It does become a lot. And I think for like officers and PPOs, it may be overwhelming, and they may, you know, obviously they're all just doing criminal use because that's what everybody else is doing, even command. So it goes back to the retraining. I did want to bring up the fact that like boost reports people are going and cleaning up boost scenes. And then they're like, we found casings. We heard shots. We found casings. Please charge criminal use 1 time. Times 5. I'll have 5 reports of boost from the same gun. I'm like, were you on North Rockford? This is criminal use. Were you on South Mo Milton? You know, this is criminal use, because that's what they're asking us to charge. Is that something we should continue to do? Or should we be encouraging something else? Because I'm going to be honest, I think it's kind of a waste of our time to be charging criminal use on boost calls that we have no other details but finding casings on the scene.
I can provide some, and I agree with that. We should, I think we like, you know, when we're talking about we need to elevate our officers, these hot gun charges are the best way to elevate it. Because if officers are reading reports and learning to, like, you know, articulate charges based on that, that right there is like an active lesson that they're learning. I'll provide an example. Yesterday, we caught on members of Hydra and a 37 Alpha. One of my suspects had a hot gun. Popped the reports open. In those reports, that gun was tied to other people in Hydra because their blood was on scene. So I said, fuck that. I would charge them with Grand Theft Auto 2 times. We hit them with gang-related 2 times, and they admitted guilt. So, like, until we get the weapon with the particular individual, with the particular circumstance, we don't have the full picture, right? And the difference becomes a fine of $10,000 versus possibly $60K, right?
You know, I'm gonna say this and it might make you freak out, Night especially, but I'm pretty sure somebody has a pre-filled template that says 1 times criminal use at the top. I'm pretty sure I saw that. So I'll try to dig and see which one I'm pretty sure did it, because it wasn't even criminal use. It was like, I don't know, bank truck or something. But I think it was like an auto-filled template. So the template lays out, and then at the top, it's like, if somebody's found with a gun,
oh my
charge
God.
1 time. I'm pretty sure it was auto-filled.
Okay. So that's definitely
that's how some people are
happen.
operating. It's just an example of what I'm seeing, and like it's a constant. And I think we're wasting time on these, like, sure, boost calls if we're investigating, and like maybe it's a serial booster and maybe they chop cars and not, you know, leads to something. But
or a murder. There's like non-boosts that say criminal use, and I'm just like, how do you, like, what? Like,
right, but then there's non-criminal use ones where I look at, I'm like, what did this? Oh, Chaz Diaz was charged 10 times attempted murder of a government employee, but it says if somebody's found with this gun, charge criminal use. How does that make sense? Why wouldn't they be getting the times 10 attempted murder of a government employee for the same situation as everybody else on the scene? So that gets a little confusing too. People are not, it's either an auto-filled template, they just think criminal use is the only thing they can ask to be charged.
We have to find those people who have those templates, who are doing that by default, and those people need to be talked to directly. I'm for streamline where we can.
This was
for streamlining where we can. I don't know if it is beneficial to us to completely streamline this. So,
statement of probable cause in the summary at the top. You know,
the thing is as well, I feel like
that's a streamline. That's a streamline. Not if this, right?
I think it was covered actually. Never mind.
So, So statement of probable cause. Don't display what charge needs to be charged. Give a statement of probable cause. You need to articulate based off that statement of probable cause what to charge.
Not only
Yeah.
that, right? But if there's a statement of probable cause, they're actually going to look at the photos of the report, meaning that they could link it back to the person stood in front
So,
of them.
let me ask you this: Are we expecting a officer who finds a hot gun to hop on VR and find out where that weapon was utilized and in what
No.
capacity?
No.
No way.
I think
I do think adding a statement of probable cause.
Yeah.
For example, say going back to this test boost, right? I feel like if there's a probable cause, if it says at the top charged with criminal use, right? They're charging with criminal use. They're closing the report. They don't care. If it's probable cause, I feel it's going to get the cogs in their head turning. They're going to read it. They're going to go through photos, and they are actually going to try to articulate. It just opens their mind up a bit, right? Whereas it's just a checkbox when it says that at the top.
One's a directive, whereas the other would be whether it's a small case like an S plus or a big case like a gang related shooting with a bank truck is like at the top, and a more expansive one, right? You've got a bunch of reports and people, some went to jail, is that if found with these like this situation involved members of Hydra and Hades that were arrested in a gang related shooting with blah blah blah. If a gun comes back to this scene, you know, it could be criminal use all the way to gang related and da da da. And that's enough for someone to be like, oh, okay, I got to look at this report. Was there DNA there? Are they a part of this gang? What are the circumstances? So, you know what I mean?
I agree.
And if we're not doing that, why even do hot guns to begin with? You know what I mean? It's just, it's criminal use is just like 5 months, slap on the ass. Best of luck to you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so we need an announcement out on that. If we're all in agreement
Yes.
on that, we need an announcement.
Okay. I
We can
agree.
put that announcement out. Actually, you know what, Knight? I want you to, if you can, please.
Yeah. I'll
You put an announcement out stating no more posting charges.
I'll put something up with some examples of what should be seen.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was going to
Yeah.
ask for, an example. Give an example as to what you're expecting.
Back to the standards, I feel like not back to, but I guess it kind of piggybacks off this. It's not just the training, but I also think when you have people, we call them the ping chasers. I have ACDC. I probably worse than some may realize, but I can still stand in the cells and make sure that people are processed properly and discussed with everybody, so no man's left behind, right? But there are people that just run the hell out of there and there's nothing in there. I had to threaten dapping people Friday. And let me tell you the novel that is in report for Friday. So when this goes to trial, because they're going to try the case, right? I don't understand why we need to threaten to dap people. So maybe like we do allow 2 days. I'm not saying we're demanding people do their freaking statement, but I think in the SOPs, maybe it needs to state their possessions at minimum, or some, you know, certain things at minimum must be put in when you click processed, because otherwise 2 days later, we're looking at the report.
I agree.
We don't know who had the AK. You didn't highlight the gun.
Yep.
I don't know anything because I have to wait 3 days to catch up with you again.
Yeah.
When you put your statement in. And I just don't think that's fair to us that are actually doing investigations.
I agree. I don't think anyone in any scene that's not like, if it's like a 24/7 whatever, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it gets violent, there is, in my opinion, zero reason for anyone to go on a call unless it's emergency 78 or some crazy shit for you to even go back on patrol before you've put in your statement. If you genuinely weren't even processing and stuff, why the hell? Then that means you probably only need 5 minutes to write something out. And if you're needing 30 minutes, that's an indicator that you're not writing enough to be able to write in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It's like a fat guy expected to go to the gym and push like 250 on the bench. Well, that's because your ass ain't going to the gym, motherfucker.
Some people don't read or write really well though.
Then okay, well then
I don't really write really well.
well, there's
though.
you know, I think Jimbo, you're better than most. But if it's really that bad, then why are they employed? You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing is, I'm guilty of this sometimes. Like, when I'm doing people's charges, I'll just bang a statement in at the same time. Like I just try to get it done, but with detail. And I do agree. It does need to be, because how many of you, and I'm sure every single person in this room is
If you
guilty
can't
of
write,
this,
then you shouldn't be on the police
has
force.
a suspect wanted to go to bench, and you've then told people, "Oh, I need your statement," and it's going to bench, and then all of a sudden they have like a fucking J.K. Rowling statement in their fucking report, right? So it shows that they can do it. They're just being lazy for it.
They don't want to, or they're not being held accountable. There's no reason. And that's why I think, again, back to command, or even seniors should be
20
down there
cops
saying,
for
all right,
this.
guys, make sure these are getting in there. Usually that's who's running the
Hello?
scene, right? Primary is not usually a PPO or an officer.
What's
It's
going on?
a command member. It can be a captain, it's TRT, people who should be doing the reports. So they should be telling everybody, if you're in here processing, I need the evidence in the locker. I need the photos today. I need the photos of the evidence seen today. It should just be a standard, and we
I
shouldn't
agree.
have to ask.
Mhm.
That
And then
should
when
be
they
the
don't do it, we dap them. I
That
don't
scene
know what
lead-
else to do.
That scene lead in that command. So this happened yesterday, and I pulled the person aside, because they were on radio. They're like, "Well, I guess everyone's got the 9 to 5. You guys need me?" And I'm like, "No, you're going to the cells. You led this scene. You're not leaving until all the ducks in order. What the fuck?"
I think we also need to encourage. A lot of people won't put their statement in purely because they haven't been assigned to the report. I think we need to encourage that. If you are on a scene, and say, for example, Radich and Maxwell and Peter's helped me, we need to make sure people are putting that in the incidents as the, in the officers involved bit. We just need to put them in. Everyone needs to start doing that. I know a lot of people don't, because they don't think it's their job to put the officers involved. But the thing is we can't check to see who isn't doing reports if they aren't tagged as an involved officer, right?
Why not have the scene lead or the command lead be responsible for the coordination, not just of the shootout and the chase, which is, to me, has been bizarre for a minute. Instead of them focusing on A95, they should be focusing on the coordination until the process completes. And that means
that's absolutely what should be happening.
Yeah. Like
they shouldn't be hands-on arresting someone. They should be assigning someone to it. I think where that becomes a problem is where we only have 3 or 4 officers up after a scene, or
that
primary goes down, transfers to another, primary goes down, transfers to another, and now somebody has all this load on their shoulders, and people are pointing fingers. So,
but even then,
people.
Sorry, go ahead.
How many people?
They can still get up and coordinate,
I
though, right?
genuinely like to hear, for comparisons. How many of you have had an officer or deputy come up to you and say they can't write a statement because they went down?
Never.
I think some are not sure what they remembered up to happening. I've heard that, but I have told people that you can write statements. Obviously, if you're the main victim of like a kidnapping, we would take your statement, but there's no reason they can't write their own statement unless they're in ICU, obviously.
People are forgetting the situation.
Well, I think it was just that one.
They took an airlift.
If they airlift, whatever.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, that's different, right?
Yeah.
That was, and I did get some. I'm gonna put the clarity I got from God when I spoke to him, about that, because that was confusing, and I could see where that's coming from.
Have clarity of that, or
I think it's better for me to share the gospel like in private, since this is a public institute.
I'm not really a religious person myself, but that's fine. You know what? You just send the gospel.
Yeah. All right. I prayed to God, and
I do train PPOs to tag every single person they see on that scene. Well, I don't know who they are. Yeah, but if you just pull up your little GPS thingy and click, 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 you can see all the officers that are standing right at the 24/7. Add their names to the report, and that's what I tell them to do, because guess what? And they're the ones liable for their statements. Then we know, guess what, Stryker? It wasn't just you at the 24/7. You tagged 12 other cops that were there, and not one put in their statements. So now I got to deal with them.
Honestly, fuck it. Take a photo of the dispatch card and bang it in evidence for like, you know what I mean? As long
Right?
as they're getting
No.
it done.
But I agree because
That's
people are
requiring
being
people to
left with
use
the
a
badge.
dispatch card.
Right.
We've been
Well, that's
really
what I'm
good,
saying, but we
actually,
have
the
been
last
getting
week.
better.
Yeah, we've been really on top of that, and people
the
have gotten
30
really
the
yeah.
37 alphas as well.
Woo!
Ever since that meeting we had and the meeting in the meeting about unit numbers, from every 37 alpha I've seen, they have improved drastically.
We
Yeah,
caught 2 yesterday. We caught 2 37 alphas yesterday.
Everyone's attaching, everyone's on top of it, everyone's shouting about who should be on what. It has improved.
Yeah, early shift 1 is kind of like locked in on the 4 cap and have been doing really well. What were you gonna say, Maxwell?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's awesome.
Okay,
I've
next.
got
Next.
Okay,
You know what we're
mine is
missing from
really
the
short.
MDT?
Mine is really short.
You know what we're missing from the MDT? And we used to have this before, and as fancy as this MDT
love
is,
nice.
it's shocking it don't exist. Back in the day, our older MDT, despite it lacking half of these features, you would actually, like, the scene lead would tag everybody, right? And that tag became a to-do. So on your MDT, you had a thing that said, you need to do this, right?
Oh, that is cool.
And
That would
I
be
didn't know
nice.
that.
I genuinely think that that's something that we should heavily ask for.
Mhm.
And it can just be like, you know, the officers involved or something. And like, you know how we have to check box or whatever. I don't really care how it works. But the point there is when the lead puts you on it, you're due for that work. Right.
Mhm. I agree. And I mean, it's something that I'm guilty of too. Like, I'll be in an incident, and then I'll end up in a meeting. I'll
We
be
used to
in
have
meetings
that
for
in
fucking
2.0
4
and
hours, and they'll be
3.0.
at 78.
We don't have it
And what
here.
I always do is
That's
I
why
go
you
to incidents,
forget.
I go to reports, I search my name, and then I go through every incident and report to make sure that everyone that I'm tagged in has a statement.
I'll
But
ask.
I can guarantee I will have at least missed 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Just because of how distracted you can get, and then you aren't yourself being tagged in.
I'm going to
a
ask.
report.
That would be huge.
Obviously, there is ways to manage it, but it can be simple mistakes too, right?
I mean,
Would you say, Lieutenant?
I think everyone knows they need to do a report on every scene they're involved in. That they
should
have
do.
some sort of effect in. I'd like to make it a standard where people just add themselves to the profile, but I know those for the call. I know those get deleted from time to time. Very inconsistent.
What gets deleted?
So adding, if I add myself to a call and somebody saves over me, it won't hold that person on there.
Oh,
We
I
tried this
see.
a while ago. I guess using dispatch cards, if people are on top of those, take photos of those, add it to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the truth is we shouldn't have to go hunting people down.
No, we shouldn't. And like, this is the thing, we should be trying to get more streamlined. Unfortunately, we are unstreamlining ourselves by having to do this, but it's in the hopes that you don't have to. These shouldn't be permanent things to fix this, right? These should just be setting an example so that people naturally just get into doing what they should be doing. And as with this, meaning that we have evidence to hold people accountable. And once people start seeing people being held accountable for things that they also aren't doing, that's what
A
will get their arse in
woman's
gear, right?
voice.
And that isn't the right way to go. Like that shouldn't be the way to do
What's
it.
her?
But inevitably, it will happen, right?
That's what we're dealing with.
Am I like,
I'm gonna
is
add
that
that to
a
the list and
thing?
I'm gonna put
Like,
together.
I don't know.
Or
I need
what I
to
want from-
chat. Oh, see, can you not use the
I
word
guess
female
expectations
anymore?
of a scene lead. No.
'Cause I mean,
Okay. If we're done with this, I just
Like,
have one
genuinely,
quick
that
thing.
conversation
I don't
had
wanna
me
spend a lot of
wondering,
time
like-
on this at all. Just a general opinion, yes or
Ladies-
no.
ladies
I don't
in
feel we
chat-
need to comment on it. The other
Ladies
day,
in chat,
Soze
listen,
wrote
we have-
a arrest warrant.
listen,
Um,
about
he didn't know
40%
about
of
the
our
template.
viewer base
He just
is
wrote the full statement of. He just wrote his statement, which of course involved
not
correct ID,
is not
statement of
male.
probable cause, everything that would be needed in the arrest warrant template.
But
was
I've
in his
heard it a couple
statement, 'cause
times.
He wrote his statement
Ladies,
correctly.
ladies.
Now, no one signed his arrest warrant in like 2 days.
What is the proper
because there wasn't the
word to
template.
use?
And when he came to me about it, I explained the template to him.
Ladies only. No.
And he was very confused on why we're creating more work for ourselves.
That's the
Now-
one I was going to talk to you about.
Now,
not
I
the,
understand it makes it easier for
You
the
said it's
DOJ
an
to read.
adjective,
I
not a
understand
noun.
it
Wait, what do
gives
you mean?
Officers guidance on how to write an arrest warrant. But if a full officer needs guidance on how to write an arrest warrant and a template to do that, then simply they shouldn't be an officer.
That's the one I want to ask about, not the other one we were talking about, not the one that Knight brought up.
I'm a boomer and grew up on
where did
Call
that
of
stem
Duty.
from? Was
Call
that
us
all the way back
bitches for all
from-
I care. What the
I think
fuck,
Viv
Desiree?
Way back when.
What
Yeah,
the fuck?
that the
No.
arrest warrant was as sergeants wanted to be able to look at. I believe it's because
Okay.
sergeants wanted to be able to just look at the report and see what the PC is, because obviously it's more work for sergeants. I guess it doesn't just jump out at you. People by reading it sometimes.
Yeah,
they weren't articulating
yeah.
what the
I
PC
agree
was
with that.
in their actual
Art.
statement, and by making them do that, they're pointing out what the PC is.
Woman's voice was
But
heard.
To my knowledge, that's why. And it was, I know it was a big deal to be added to SOPs, I'm pretty sure, by Viv, and I think Trig added it. This was like a huge thing.
It makes
Yeah, that's
sense,
exactly because I would normally say
but I
a
feel it
male's
takes away a
voice,
learning opportunity for us.
not a man's
just a
voice. Like that
statement
would be weird to
and
say.
the sergeant
right?
actually
But
needs
now
to
I'm like, do
fully
I
go through
say-
it, and then they call up the
Whatever.
officer who
Cancel
made
me.
the statement
Th-
and
this-
said the reason it's not signed is because you're missing this from your statement. We are literally teaching people how to articulate just from their arrest warrants not being right. I don't know if you all agree.
Even at the top, you still had to do that, because I was there when it was implemented, and even then you would read these warrants and they'd still get their statement of probable cause wrong.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is we're giving them a dummy's guide on how to write arrest warrants, whereas they should be articulating it in their statement, and they should be.
Figured he
able
had
to
a
fully
phone
do
number
that.
of a Sparks.
Does that make sense? Again, this isn't something I'm pressed about either way. It's just
Was a
something that
mistake
did bring up
as-
to me, and I did put some
as
thought into it, and I did think
Sparks.
we
Yeah.
are making more. Because essentially, what he had to do then, after he'd wrote his
Deputy
statement that was right,
Is
he had to cut and
Department
copy and paste bits
might
out of
ask
his statement without adding
caller
more words,
whom
just
it
to
was
put into this template.
and
So he had his full
expressed his
statement
confusion.
and then a chopped up statement in the form of a template,
Which
giving him
the
double the amount of work for
now
something that was fine in the
suspect,
first place, right?
stated that
I agree, but also then
she
it's still
had
that
deputy
work that you shift from that officer then shifts onto the sergeant again,
Sparks's,
because they still have to then like. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not
that
big on the
he
fact that all
only
the
had
warrants needed
moments left.
reviewing.
I
left.
think
We
my
approved
opinion
it.
on it is
Found.
my opinion on it is if
Knight
people want to use the
asked
template, fine.
why
If people don't want to use the template and want to write a statement, also fine. I think we should sign them either
found.
way if the probable
implying
cause and
she had
ID's
heard
there.
him.
I don't think we have to enforce one or the other.
Hurt
But
him.
if an officer
She
is more
went
comfortable
on
just
to
writing a full
state
statement
that-
instead of having to butcher up a template, I'd still sign it.
Sparks had,
If a sergeant has to spend 5 more
interrupted
minutes
her.
ensuring an arrest warrant's right,
and therefore
again, that isn't a bad thing.
What were you saying, Peters?
We made it so it's not a sergeant issue. My big thing is it's a statement of probable cause, and the reason for a warrant literally needs to be no more than 3 sentences. It could be more than that, but it doesn't need to be. And you're making
she
everyone
would
do
not
more work.
give
It's not sergeant
Knight
now; it's
the
senior plus who could sign
citation.
arrest warrants as well. I don't know. I
Speed
think it's just redundant
towards
information,
a,
and you're making officers do twice as much work for.
Knight
Okay, so let's just make it simple. Let's just get rid of the template.
radioed a 78.
I will say that I
To
think
all
the other
units.
reason behind it, for the record, is
And began
I
to
believe that
drive
it was
towards
to weed out
a,
the BS warrants that people would continue to throw up with little to no effort. Just, oh, I saw like the example on the SOPs.
Lido.
You know, I saw
Here,
Zolo at the cash
across
exchange.
from
Here's a
the
warrant for his
lumberyard.
arrest. Boom, done. And then there's nothing in the
McNulty
report.
It needs to be
arrived
reasonable suspicion, probable cause, and then like I responded to a scene of shots fired, right? So we have our asses covered there. So and so had their weapon out.
Made that
Peters
clear.
was able to identify
Right.
him based on him not wearing a
Noticed
mask
a
and past
vehicle
whatever.
leaving
He fled from
the
police.
scene. A
Like I mean,
black
it could be as simple as that. You
Well,
know,
it's also the double thing of like I'm looking at a restaurant now that
Knight
someone's put up,
instructed
Autumn Hope.
McNulty
Like we've listed criminal use of a firearm and
Here.
reckless evading, but then in the right
Night.
where you add criminal
Aim
charges, they're
to-
there anyway. So again, we're just listing the same thing twice. They're doubling
Okay,
their work.
let's just keep it simple. I think we're all on the same page.
perp.
I think we created a fix for an issue we're having at the time, which was spell out your articulation. I think we've had that for long enough now. We can just get rid of that. I mean, frankly, when you're writing a search warrant, you should be able to go down your list of charges and find the probable cause for each charge you're pushing.
Mhm.
Reckless evading, drove at high rates of speed on sidewalks, curbs, into oncoming lanes for no regard for traffic. Resisting arrest, they got out on
Lily
foot and
Night
fled
Sky?
from officers after being ordered to stop.
Mhm.
Whatever the charge is, you're articulating in your statement. Let's just get rid of the format and let's just leave it as our statement, as a report.
I agree. Okay.
SOPs need to be updated. Somebody wants to do that.
Is anyone else on board with that? Does anyone have an
Radich, what do you
objection
think,
to it?
Peters?
Jimbo?
No, I don't have any objections to it. I mean,
What's your opinion, Jimbo? Look at this fucking...
I agree with
Perfect.
Jimbo.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
I do have one more thing I need to bring up as well.
Okay. I got 200 seconds right now.
Yotes. I think we should lift. I think we should lift the ban on people being able to use them.
I'm in full agreement. If you can get your hands on a yoke and slam it in one of your PD vehicles, do it.
Then we're
And
going to have
everyone
every
else
single
fucking has
vehicle
one.
out there in a yoke. And what's the point of a pursuit unit? Do we just get rid of the pursuit unit?
Well, every
No,
single
no.
person out there has a yoke.
Yeah, and on top of that, doesn't matter. Pursuit unit vehicles perform better than your than the CVPI.
Yeah.
It performs better than the Premier. Performs better than the. I think right now we're struggling to keep up. And I mean, I know Frost Night and I witnessed
Mhm.
20 yotes just get handed to people less than a month
Mhm.
ago, like
And
for free, just at and
Oh,
we're
the
running-
terror race, right?
yes, and we're running into issues right now where PD's already struggling to keep up because our vehicles are subpar. Like, why are we shooting ourselves in the foot?
exactly, we're holding ourselves back. And
We
back
still
to
need to
your
be able to
BRT point,
respond. We still need to be able to respond to the B's, C's, the A's. Bringing yotes that people are not. We can't have yotes responding to those.
Yeah, well,
we
this
still
is
need
where
people to
command
respond to
steps
those other
in, says I need a
calls.
CVPI
Knight
for
then
that
made his way to the
V-boost.
hospital
What
where
happens when everybody's
Sparks
got a-
was
got a
in
yoke in the car?
ICU.
The shared vehicles. So I the BCSO have
We
5
want people to
Tauruses and
swap
4
out.
CVPIs. Absolutely, it's needed.
What's her name?
I mean, we
Ember?
do that as a pretty
Yeah,
standard
dude,
practice
outside
based on shift
waiting?
too. Yeah,
And
I
on-
swap down
Swapping
to a
out is a
CVP all
standard
the time.
practice, but having people out there in those cars
Knight
also
leaving.
should be able to respond
Knight
right
then
away.
made
on those
his
cases.
way
Yeah,
to
but there still
Metro.
will be. There isn't. You think
ED.
every single deputy and officer on duty can afford 530k to slam a yoke in a
Harper,
vehicle as well as
Whitehall.
the
SPD
Whom
unavailability
was
of yokes?
found by Sparks's
I can't.
I
body,
I mean,
was
okay,
arrested.
counter then.
An
Let's-
interrogation.
PPOs and cadets aren't PPOs aren't allowed
commenced.
yokes. Boom.
People shouldn't be buying cars,
Knight
right?
does
Officers
Officers
recognize
aren't allowed to use
Whitehall's
Yeah.
voice
Command
as the
Plus receiver.
original.
Oh, yeah, true. If we
caller.
did command plus, then we're fixing your argument, right?
Well, command
So
plus and
anyone
pursuit
from a
unit.
sergeant. And as for pursuit unit, you said, what's the point in pursuit unit if everyone has yotes? Pursuit unit shouldn't be about how fast and good their car is. Pursuit unit should be about them using cars tactically as a
Well,
unit.
People using them safely and properly.
And
as
as
well.
for, well, how can we gauge that? Because what about the criminals using them unsafely and improperly? It doesn't make them illegal. Like, who are we to...
You're completely missing what I'm saying. I'm saying the people operating need to use them safely.
yeah, they
I don't
do.
care what I'm not worried about criminal. I'm worried about what our officers are doing in the car.
Yeah, and
right?
if our officers aren't using them properly, we hold them accountable. That's our job. Just because
Right.
things can be done and people will do it, we fix it by holding them accountable. We can't put a band-aid on everyone because we don't trust
I
people.
know. No, I think I'm still heavily against yokes in every vehicle. You want to put other engines, fine, but not yokes.
So I have a question. What's the stigma with yotes? Because they're so.
I don't understand. They're not though. Like, and anyone that's not in a pursuit unit, the only thing that even gives us a cutting edge on a yote would be a buffalo, and even the buffalo with the yote in it is not as good as a Penumbra with the short iron E6.
Well,
Well,
both
that's
of
it,
those are in so as to let's call them like something else, because like you said, the short eye is the best for a 2-liter, right? And the yote is the best for a 3-liter, roughly. So
Yeah, you
but
mean
it's
I-
both
I-
the same
cubic meter, yeah.
conversation, right?
I think
Am
Peter's
I right
argument-
or am I wrong about that, or am I misrepresenting?
You are right, but I think the argument here is the two most preferred and used PRT vehicles, the Coquette and the Penumbra, do not use yotes. So again, I don't feel we're taking anything from the PRT unit, even with the way that you looked at the PRT unit.
Let's talk to PRT a little bit then. Again,
yeah,
I don't think it should be their decision. I don't think we should need to speak to them about
I want to bring him in the loop.
enabling
talk
our
to them a bit
officers
about
to actually catch fast cars. We shoot ourselves in the foot so often.
on the this is a bit of a side note, but within the same conversation, I was told by, so like, let's kind of keep it in the back of our minds type thing. I was told by McQuillan that we should not be putting yotes in the SUVs. His argument was that it will one-tap destroy a criminal's vehicle.
If
I
they
don't
use
know
them in
if
that
it's-
no.
I do-
No,
I do
that's
not know if it's true,
It's
but
not.
that's what he told me. And
It's,
so
it's if you're ramming, which is a whole different thing inside of PD. That's not an issue. I've had a yote in a Explorer before. Rhodes runs a yote in his Explorer. I think
I had a yoted truck for a little bit.
I mean we had a yoted truck.
so it's inaccurate what he was saying.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
it's I mean it does add weight to the vehicle, but it's not if you were going head on 180 miles per hour into someone, it's going to disable their vehicle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, even
Any
the
vehicle's gonna
truck,
do that though, right?
even the truck that I have that has a W12, I could, if I really wanted to, I could do that. But I don't, because that's not.
All right.
how
The
we're
reason
supposed
I
to use
took
it, right.
the reason why I'm even presenting this is he's like a PRT guy, right? So for him to bring it up to me, I figured that may have some value to it. But then again, I don't know transparent. Like, I kind of want to try it out. I'm going to be honest.
The thing is, this is a crazy hot take, and very. I imagine. The reason that I wouldn't want to bring PRT into this talk is because I believe they like having these things to themselves, and it wouldn't be a productive conversation.
So I spoke with McQuillan today, and his opinion is one of the heads of PRT is that he is like, if someone from PRT can afford a yote and can put it in their vehicle, that he will be fine with that. That's kind of where he is standing on it. Is that because as you said, some of the vehicles can't even take yotes for the PRT. So he was like, if they can afford it and they cover it themselves and they can get access to a yote and they can put it in one of their interceptors, he's fine with it.
Yeah, I just don't understand why we're shooting ourselves in the foot over it. Like,
I
why
agree.
are we gatekeeping something that is so actively used against us? And I understand, Turner, the argument where you're like, well, I don't understand the argument. I think it's we're at this point where like I said last month, over 20. I'll be generous. 15 brand new yote fully
That was
built motors.
23.
Okay, so there it is. 23 yotes were given to people on the streets, not including stuff that was pulled out of boxes. Like we're dealing with a whole different beast, and I think, like Frost said, the preferred vehicles are the Coquettes and the Penumbras, which can't even fit that in there. It's going to be the short eye or the E6.
But still outpace the yoted interceptors regardless.
I mean, I get outpaced. I just put a yote in my Buffalo, and it's still not.
Yeah, that is true. I've been driving a yoted one.
It's not.
Some of these other cars will do it, but
it doesn't even.
I
perform
get
as well,
Turner's
so.
point though, and
I
his
do
point
too.
is valid, which is he's not saying let's, because I feel like we're misconstruing a little bit of what Turner's point is that his concern is if we are all yoted out, which is gonna happen, right? That would be the trajectory. Well, then what law enforcement do you have left to deal with the
Yeah, well, this is my
every so often person. So what's the solution
this is my fix
to that?
to it, right?
Yeah.
The solution here is Sergeant Plus. So any single sergeant, lieutenant, and high command can use yotes. Let's trial it for a few weeks, see how we get on. If
Mhm.
it isn't as bad as we expect, then let's maybe open it up to seniors. If it is as bad as we expect, we take it from sergeants, and that's it. We have to try all these things. We can't just hold ourselves back.
Okay.
I agree with the sheriff. I think we
Yeah.
should reliably be able to depend on our command and command plus to make the decision and those decisions in the field to break off, switch vehicles, ask other people to do such, delegate it, and not overuse something that we're worried about. But on the average, I mean, to Peter's point, these vehicles are out here in mass, and I mean, even air units can't keep up with them, and it's hopeless. They pull on as soon as they get on a straight line, they're gone from Air One's visual range, and there's the only answer to that is to have a car that can actually keep them in visual range, and there's no engine that's going to outpace some of these vehicles with a Yote in them besides a Yote.
I forget who I was talking to earlier today from PRT, but they said, I believe it was a Z Shaw, a Manor affiliate. He brought the same car to, I believe, 3 to 4 robberies in a span of a couple hours, and it's a Yoted out Sultan or whatever, and he takes 2 turns and he's already gotten away from even the PRT drivers.
Well, this is the other thing, right? These criminals aren't buying $2 million fucking hypercars. They're buying $40,000 shit boxes like Premiers and then slamming a Yote in them. And
Moonbeams.
Oh, y'all don't even
And
know about the
Moonbeams.
slam van yet.
Yeah,
You know
the
the
Moonbeam, yeah,
Moonbeam. Yeah, that's the new
Slam van's
shit.
a truck.
Like, this is the
Yeah.
thing.
No, that's
So I personally, like I said, I think the best ultimatum is Sergeant Plus. Let's try and not shoot ourselves in the foot for once. And at the end of the day, if we fuck up with it, we fix it. If it goes good, then fucking great, right? But we can't predict that.
Why don't we let the fucking PRT people take it then, if that's the case?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't give a fuck about PRT. I'm
Me
just
neither.
throwing that
I
out
fucking
there.
hate PRT.
They have bad experience with PRT.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
the
don't-
thing is-
Actually, I
the-
know.
The,
I
the
had
thing
every-
is PRT will simply say no just because they want to be the ones with Yotes,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that's not right. And I know it because I'm in it
Yeah.
and I've been there for it.
I mean,
You only want
I'm
to open
still
it to
waiting to
sergeants,
get
though?
certified.
Most of the sergeants are PRT, so what's the difference?
Yeah, but PRT. No, yeah, but that's the thing. PRT. Just because you PRT, you can't in their SOP. You can't drive a Yoted Interceptor. So we're opening it up for them regardless. Right now, Sergeant or not, being in PRT, you cannot put a Yote in your Interceptor.
it seemed. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you good. So yeah, opening it up for sergeants does open it up for the people in PRT too.
I feel like this attitude, we're talking about PRT. I don't even know if it's just towards the Yotes. Senior Officer Key brought something to my attention the other night that he was told that he can't do any sort of engine swap, any of the engine blocks he could get his hands on into his personal Buffalo, which is against the SOPs of PRT. It says in the SOPs
yeah,
that
the Buffalo
only a
doesn't-
kitten can't.
The Buffalo, it doesn't even matter because the Buffalo doesn't perform with any other motor.
I tried to tell him that, but he was dead set on trying it, and I guess he was told no. He was just straight up told no by PRT lead. So.
I'm gonna be very blunt here, and please don't take my energy in any kind of more than what it is. I'm a strong believer that our certifications need a targeted functional reason. We used to have those back in the day. Today, it's just they don't provide a function, right? PRT is supposed to be primarily like training and the this and that. Now it's like a goddamn scuff battle pass where you slap the right ass, you get what you want, right?
I mean, me and Miller had this conversation about TRT the other day as well. It feels like it's just gone back to having a vest again.
We had a TRT guy the other day who found, you ready for this? Had a, and this isn't fuck TRT, by the way, right? To be rather clear here. It's that it's filling a function. We had Cade, who's in TRT, with our TRT head, Quangle, and Quangle couldn't deal with this either. He goes, he tried to convince Cade. They had photographs of handoffs at Little Soul for 15 minutes. The person was arrested, full op on it. Arrested 100 bags and $88,000, and Cade didn't know they could rate him. To the point where, even Quango threw his hands up in the air. Now, that's kind of like, okay, well, what's the point? What, you get a gun? Like, is that, you know what I mean? Like, what is that not in that space, right? So, I genuinely think that there's a larger conversation here is what is the intent and purpose of that unit, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's something we look at next meeting, because I think that would be.
It's definitely They
I mean-
should have their purpose.
I agree, but just so we don't get sidetracked, obviously Turner, I understand you disagree. A lot of us in this circle do disagree. I think we should trial Sergeant Plus for Yotes.
All
I
right.
think
What happens if
it
they're
should
in the
be
pursuit
senior
unit?
plus.
If they're in the pursuit unit,
Can they put a yoke inside of one of
Well,
the pursuit vehicles?
I don't feel like PRT can overrule their command status in this. If High Command are saying sergeants are allowed Yotes, then that's final. At the end of the day, they are a unit. They are
So
not
you-
above. They
you
are not
want-
above High Command.
So you want them to put yotes inside of all the pursuit vehicles then?
No, I want
If they're
people, sergeants, to individually put Yotes in their vehicle if they can afford and get one. Yes,
I think it should be senior plus, not sergeant plus.
I agree.
Yeah,
But
well,
I do want to help be on Turner's side a little bit in the fact that we trial it. But if
That's still a trial. You're only adding 3 sergeants maybe that don't already drive interceptors.
okay, yeah, okay, I'm on board. I agree. However, I think we tell the seniors that if we are going to allow seniors to have Yotes in their vehicles too, because that does make up a lot of the police force, seniors need to be on top of the officers and PPOs below them, ensuring that vehicles are still there to be covered for B boosts and shit like that. And seniors are going to have
I'm
to take a
with
bit more
Turner.
responsibility with that. Is that fair?
How do we identify that they're in a Yoda vehicle? Do we want them to have different signs, interceptors on dispatch cards?
Why don't we just get a dispatcher tag added that says fucking yo? Honestly,
why do
sounds
we
dumb, but
do we need that?
Isn't it just
understanding
easier?
what kind of resources we have is important.
Ain't it just easier at this stage in San Andreas to have like the RP unit, have like special colored vehicles or and have vehicles that are meant for bees? Because like if any one of us are on a vehicle and we're like, yo, this thing's a fucking bee, you bring out like the separately colored shit cars that we got and send those. Like we're at that point. We're like,
That could
how
be
often
good.
are we
That could
ever chasing a vehicle that even is under,
you are right,
Just
and
the
I,
crap
and I,
boost usually that's
Yeah.
it is literally the boost, because the other thing that we need to think about here is if we pull up to a Fleeca or a
It's
Polito,
easier
a
to give
Maze
everyone the
Bank,
thing.
anything in that regard. We have so much time outside waiting for them to finish robbing whatever they're robbing that we can quite clearly see what vehicle there is in, and the lead scene will delegate and say, okay, go grab some Tauruses, go grab some CVPIs. So the only context where needing slower vehicles matters is quite literally shitty boosts. Outside of that, we have time to prepare for pursuits.
Yeah, like specially colored LSPD, specially colored BCSO vehicles that are like, these should not be upgraded. So then even visually like, oh shit, this car sucks, let's go pull out one of those, and very visually we know, okay, these are the ones that should not be upgraded or are set at a standard amount, and it could be shared. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I mean, the same goes for
this is just an idea, by the way, as an alternative. Instead of managing not to over upgrade all our cop cars to account for 5% of our chases, it just flips the script a little bit.
And even like, I agree with you. And just to back onto my point about having time for pursuits, even during a traffic stop, if you pull over a slow vehicle, you can radio in for a 77 in a Taurus or a CVPI. There is a lot of opportunity.
Yeah, like pink cars.
To make sure.
Chad, what is the last time? I can't think of the last time I've ever been on a call
vehicles, right?
where
People
that
just need to
vehicle
use their
isn't
brains.
cooking us.
And if we catch people using yoted vehicles on a fucking bus boost, then we deal with it.
All right. Let's try it on seniors. However, it's a trial period and we won't be refunding engines. We won't be paying for engines.
I agree.
As long as we're making that clear across the board.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I've already made that clear when we were talking about it, that if it did go forward, BCSO would not be covering anything.
Stevie, could you put the announcement up for this?
Yes.
Perfect. and then Knight, you're going to do the announcement for the hot guns. Could you also?
Yeah.
I think if we're doing that, that is like a report styled announcement. We may as well add the updated warrant adjustment into it too, about no longer needing a template. Do two birds, one stone with that.
These things that we're writing out, is there like you know how we got the PD master doc? Should all these kind of things be linked to that so that it's not a one-time thing? It's like sitting at the top of something. Is that what the PD master doc is? Not well. So this goes beyond an announcement, right? Like this is effectively an SOP change.
Quick one, guys. Is there any more topics? I need to go for like an hour or two.
There should be an announcement about the SOP change after the SOP change is made. Like announced, yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually what
Okay.
happens.
Who can make the SOP change? Or what change are we talking? I mean, we shouldn't change SOPs until the trial period's over.
No.
But
The
warrant
criminal
stuff.
Oh yeah, the warrant stuff.
Warrant
yeah.
stuff, yes.
Okay.
Who can make that change?
So I'm making the change for don't use criminal use, blah, 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 blah. This is how it should be done, blah, 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 blah.
Is that in SOPs?
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Like this sounds like an SOP change.
Right. I'm sorry, guys. I'll be
and-
back in an hour, okay?
Okay. I just want to make sure that when I write this out and it's not just an announcement so that someone who wasn't on duty for 2 weeks comes back and doesn't miss it. You know what I mean? So,
Okay. Do you have any access to the SOPs tonight?
yes, I do. I don't know if I have edit permissions because I think it's like a new version.
Request permissions in, and we'll get that
Alright.
sorted, and then
Okay.
update the SOPs and add it to the change log at the bottom.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And then I'll put that body in the announcement as well. So,
Okay, perfect.
Do we have how long the trial period is going to be, or are we just foreseeable future?
Let me use the little boys'
Uh,
room real quick.
I think foreseeable future here
Okay.
is the best verbiage here, and then once we make it permanent or not, adjustments we adjust it. All right, anything else we want to cover here? We all good here.
I have some things for you, not joint though.
all right.
Okay.
Just to be
Yeah.
clear here, I don't have a problem with TRT, just to be very, very blunt. Okay. It's only an example.
No, I in my opinion, I think you were pretty spot on with what you just said. I think that some of the units lack identity. That obviously policing changes as we go through time, and
That's a
they
good
don't
way to
keep
put
up.
it. Yep.
So
All right, cool. Hell
So yeah, what happened yesterday? For some reason, I will be reaching out to TRT. I don't know if I talked to you about it, Radich, but for some reason in shift 2, people seem to think that TRT is supposed to take over big shootout scenes. That is not how it's written in SOPs, and that should not be happening unless primary approves it. So, or unless things obviously are going south and a command member wants to make that call. That's fine. It is not
TRT
written that way. They may take over a scene when it is given to them. Not, I heard on the radio yesterday, which was kind of like, what the hell? One, the primary was a TRT operator. 2, it was given to somebody else who was TRT, which made no sense, but it was called out. TRT is taking over the scene. TRT was already leading it. And even so, that was up to primary, who was also a sergeant, which trumps any cert, period. For some reason, people in certs think that their SOPs trump chain of command, and it does not. So if you guys see that, please correct people, because that is not what happens.
and that's not just a shift 2 problem either, though.
I agree, but that's what happened yesterday. And I was asking, because obviously I work shift 2 very often, pretty much 5 days a week. I'm in shift 2. And that was the first time I ever heard TRT is taking over this because of what it is. And I've never heard them
if things
say
are
that on
falling
the radio.
apart, or I'm looking for someone and things aren't looking good,
That's
I'm going
like
to
a
look for somebody
Quangle
in
thing
TRT,
mostly, I
right?
think.
Right.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they shouldn't
Right.
be taken over if things are going well.
Right. It was just how it was called out and perceived. And I think more, if it's more than just this one person who made that call out, it just needs to be corrected. Obviously, it's a within TRT thing. So I will talk to the lead, which is Opal, and let her know, hey, this happened. so that because one, you crapped on the other TRT operator, and two, you're letting other people think that they can't even lead shit. It has to be TRT, and that is not what TRT does. They don't
This was
just
the Pier
take over
shootout, right?
Yeah, was it
Yeah.
Del Perro?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Del Perro Pier.
Yeah.
That whole thing was
TRT operators. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
no, the comms of everyone like telling everybody what to
Yes.
do were like
Yes.
Oh my
I went up
God,
to
that
Gra- I
got
went up to-
sour real quick.
I went up to
Screaming to myself.
Gravy. I went up to Gravy and I was like, "Hey, are you good?" And he was like, "There's too many cooks in the kitchen. I don't even want to lead it anymore." And I was like, "Well, that's kind of
Yeah.
shitty
Oh.
that he
Yeah.
gets felt that way, right?"
And there was a lot of cooks. Even when somebody was like, "It's Maeve. Why, Maeve? Why is everybody talking? It's Maeve." And it's like, well, you're adding to it by also communicating, and you shouldn't be. And then somebody else, which I think it was Angel, Aaron, because everybody likes to shoot and run. Quangle had got out of the car, shot the guy, and somebody else also shot, took off. And Aaron's like, "Somebody stay back with that person." And then Angel's like, "You need to calm down, blah, blah." And it's like, that's not even necessary for you to say that because people leave and shoot and leave. Us saying somebody stay back absolutely was necessary to be said on the radio because so many times we see people shoot and leave. Today at the shootout this morning, same thing. Somebody was shot down and cops were just going to the next thing. And there's bodies spread across 3 streets and we're too busy following a car. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Shooting people down or whatever and then just leaving them there. Somebody needs to stay with the unit. It being called out is justified. Somebody yelling calm down on the radio
I think
has
Angel's
never
right.
gone well. I'm glad nobody responded to it, but it wasn't
I
even
did. I
directed
said
at her.
good
It was just
shit.
in general. Somebody needed
Good
to stay back.
shit.
It just everybody was getting feisty on that call, and I was like, "Why am I not 42'd yet?" I was
We
like,
open fire on someone and we leave them down, and we
Yeah.
don't try to provide them first aid or some sort of
Yeah.
aid at all. It's going to be a wrongful death, and we
Yeah.
might end up having a non-justified homicide on top of our hands. So it could be criminal and civil. It's a massive
Yeah.
issue. We can't just shoot people down.
That's
and leave them
because-
bleed out.
Look,
That's not
Um,
saying drag bodies
that's
during
be-
shootouts. I'm just saying.
No.
Why
like,
are we
we're
talking to Angel
watching, like,
directly?
okay, we're not just like everybody fled the car.
Maxwell's
Yeah,
one of my
at
favorite
the end of
people
the
in
pier.
high command,
I was driving by,
Yeah.
on the
but
lower
sometimes
Mhm.
and
she
everybody- I think
gets
it was like 5 or 6
overprotective and
units
it turns
shot the
into an
guy,
agenda,
and
Yep.
then one unit stayed there to
which is why it can
Aaron
Aaron
sometimes.
just was like, make
but
sure somebody stays back.
but
and it
because
was,
this
you know,
is
rightfully called.
that's
it needed to
why
be called
Angel's
because,
not here,
again,
right?
People were like, shoot
But
out
in the
where? Ping,
previous
ping, ping,
case,
ping.
it was very clear.
Just to wrap up, the
She
TRT
demanded
conditions,
hearing
TRT
the other
operators should
side
be
of it,
assembling on
yet she
scenes
on
in a
her own
group,
accord talked to
try
King
be grouping up
separately and then
probably
completely
no more than 4,
misrepresented him.
in one group.
in here
and
and
making
turned it
themselves
into a.
available to the incident.
You're saying
command to be
LSPD
used as a
sucks
tactical
and Miller
asset. Now,
sucks
obviously,
and-
once they're deployed, if they say,
You
"Hey,
know what I mean?
TRT, I need you guys to get into white garage and neutralize whoever, or arrest and apprehend the guy on
And
top or
that's
whatever."
something
Then
she's got to work
obviously,
on.
as
It's
they're
not the end of the
operating as a unit,
world,
they're
but
gonna make their
it
own
does
calls
happen.
inside the
Like,
building unless told otherwise. But other than that, they should not be taking over the entire scene. As
Yeah.
a matter of fact, I prefer
and the
that
thing
does
is,
not happen.
overprotection
Like that
isn't
communicate with
actually
Opal, because
helping,
that makes them less
right?
effective.
Because it creates
Yeah.
an
They're not there to be incident
unresolvable
command. They're there to be
conflict,
a tool
which
for
has
incident
to be
command
resolved.
to approach and get aggressive.
And I think it's good
with
that
the
we,
highest
for
threat or
example, brought
whatever
King in.
needs to get done
But
immediately.
for the
gets in
very
tactical
same,
sense.
but
That's
that
really
only
what they
King
should be
only
doing.
came in because his position was misrepresented, right? We don't need to bring
Well,
Angel
while
here
we're on
because
the
this
same
shit
page
ain't that
with
deep.
I'm gonna reach
You know what I
out to
mean?
Opal about what I
You
witnessed yesterday.
can
and
have
just let
enough
her know, like,
information
hey, we have
to
TRT
make
running
a
around today.
decision
And he is the
and then
shift
apply
2
it. We don't need to
TRT
hear
lead,
from
I
the entire
believe,
world.
Or is it Romello?
Quangle.
The need to
Quangle
is,
understand
yeah,
from the
and
entire
then-
world
and
is
then-
if there's insufficient
No,
information.
he's for LSPD.
In the
and
same
BCSO.
vein, like with
Oh,
this
right, yeah.
meth
The
thing,
overall lead, Mello's an
we
overall
don't
lead.
need
Right.
to
Yeah,
bring
so he hires
everybody
both
in to
LSPD
know
and
that that
BCSO 'cause it's a
report
joint,
alone is enough to
thing.
conclude
So,
that there was
for
misconduct,
TRT.
right?
So
You're talking Romello.
Yes, yes, sir.
no, I'm talking about Quangle is
Oh, yeah.
is
He's
hiring
LSPD.
shift 2 LSPD, right? Officers.
Okay, yeah.
LSPD, but he also he brought on Maeve as well. So that's what I'm. Anyway, either way, I just want to make sure that they know that we're not taking over everything. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't be TRT if that was the plan to just take over every damn scene. That's boring to me, and I think other people need a chance to do shit.
No, it's
That's
all
not what I signed
understandable.
up
I'm just
for,
kind of
so,
someone asked, why
I'll
are
just
we
get
not
that clarity
bringing
on that
her in
for
on this
everybody.
case? It's because it ain't that deep.
I've got about 15 minutes before I'm going to need to head out and be back for shift 2.
Oh, Radich, I'm gonna help you get our. We need to work on the outfit SOPs. I know We've been waiting for those for 6 months, but we got to update the BCSO ones too. So let's work together on that.
The speedy ones are done, right?
Oh, it's not in the SOPs. Remember my hat conversation?
I don't think the photographs ever were
Yeah.
able to make it in there. That was the issue.
Yeah. But we'll get together. Give me a call afterwards. I'm gonna get the BCSO ones. We'll get the LSPD ones in there too. Then you can.
Sure. I mean, I still have everything ready to go as far as like the data that needs to be put in there. So it can be
I'm
formatted
just
and
busting your
put in.
balls, by the way. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate the help if you want to help.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, we got to put ours in there. That's why I brought it up. So, anyways.
Also, completely unrelated. This MP5 is ass.
Yeah, shotgun's ass too.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh.
Awesome.
Oh,
Point
did you
blank, the
clear the
shotgun's
evidence, by the way, Jimbo?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Good shit.
Okay. All right. Should we go and discuss our LSPD things, sir? with
Yes.
Maxwell and-
Because we're out of
Thank you,
chest.
guys.
All right.
Appreciate
Bye,
it.
guys. Thanks for
Thank
the
you.
meeting.
All right.
Very much.
All right. Later, guys.
Bye.
Y'all take care.
All right.
See you guys around.
Can we have a change of scenery, please? I would love.